In the bustling streets of Lagos, Nigeria, lived a woman named Omolora, whose life was a paradox of elegance and darkness. Born into a humble Yoruba family, she quickly learned that the world offered little to those who played by the rules. She was beautiful, intelligent, and ambitious, and it was this ambition that led her down a path of shadows. Omolora began her career in the drug trade, a risky business that promised quick wealth. She established connections that spanned continents, from Nigeria to the Middle East, specifically Saudi Arabia. Over the years, Omolora became a formidable figure in the underworld, earning herself a reputation as one of the most successful drug dealers in the region. Her wealth grew exponentially, and with it came the luxuries she had always dreamed of: opulent houses, flashy cars, and successful businesses. Yet, despite all she had, Omolora was not content. Something was missing. It was during one of her many trips to the airport that she met Adewale, a man who worked as her driver. He was charming, attentive, and seemingly trustworthy. Over time, Omolora found herself drawn to him, perhaps seeing the stability and normalcy she longed for in him. Adewale, recognizing the opportunity before him, courted her with fervor, and soon they were married. However, Omolora's decision to marry Adewale came with a price. After their wedding, Omolora announced her desire to leave the drug trade. She had achieved all she ever wanted, and now she wished to live a quiet, legitimate life. But Adewale, blinded by greed and the wealth that came with Omolora's dark dealings, refused to let her go. "You can't just walk away," he said one night, his voice dripping with menace. "Not when we have everything right in front of us." Omolora was adamant, but Adewale was a cunning man. He resorted to using charms, a dark power that clouded Omolora's mind and bent her will to his. Time and again, he convinced her that each run would be the last. Each time, she believed him, only to be trapped in the cycle of deceit and crime once more. Finally, Omolora reached her breaking point. She decided that one last trip would be her final act in the trade, but this time, she would bring her younger sister, Bolana, into the fold. Omolora's plan was simple: she would introduce Bolana to her partners, who would then take over the business, allowing Omolora to step away for good. Reluctantly, Adewale agreed. The trio made their way to Saudi Arabia, their final destination. However, fate had other plans. The Saudi authorities, who had been monitoring Omolora for years, finally struck. At the airport, they found the drugs hidden in Omolora and Bolana's luggage. The two women were arrested, and under the harsh interrogation methods of the Saudi police, Omolora and her sister were grilled like pepper, as the saying goes, until they revealed the full extent of their operation. But the worst was yet to come. The Saudi authorities, known for their severe punishments, decided to make an example out of Omolora, Bolana, and Adewale. Instead of a life sentence, the three were sentenced to a fate far more terrifying. They were taken to a facility where they were to be blended, a process in which their bodies would be crushed and ground into nothingness, a gruesome execution meant to instill fear in anyone who dared to follow in their footsteps. As Omolora stood before the machine, she thought of all she had accomplished, all she had sacrificed, and all she had lost. Her wealth, power, and freedom were all gone, consumed by the greed that had driven her and the man she had married. The last thing she saw was Adewale's face, twisted in terror, as the machine roared to life. And so, Omolora's story ended not with the quiet regret of a life in prison but with the brutal finality of a machine that showed no mercy. Her ambition had led her to heights she could never have imagined, but in the end, it was greed that brought her and her husband to a crushing, unforgiving end. Please like, share, comment and subscribe.